start the class, so I'm going to probably adjust that as the camera as we're going along. Start with the feet hip distance, take a wide lateral thoracic breath, so welcome along to Pilates stretch. So I'm going to use the small ball quite a lot as I mentioned. Relax your shoulders into a soft V as you come back. Draw into your pelvic floor, the muscle going through your centre to 30%. And draw your belly button tight. That's your TVA, your transverse abdominis. So you're pulling in like you're putting on your jeans, and then you're drawing into like you need to go to the toilet, but only doing that to 30%. Just relax the hand. I'm going to go straight to a squat. So I'm going to hands out to shoulder distance and just squat down and then lift on up. So as soon as you're ready, you can start to lift off through the heel and keep that core contracted. So just standing up nice and straight, pushing your bum back and really drawing into your pelvic floor, letting that wide lateral thoracic breath come in and then come out and then draw into your pelvic floor and your TVA as well. Just relax this one down, release that out. So we're going to go to side bend straight away. So option with the hands there, any injuries, otherwise come on over. Big inhale, exhale, draw into your belly button, into your pelvic floor, exhale. And just relax that through. Shoulders are relaxed. Let's go to neutral. So you're going to push the hips forward and then push them back and then get smaller and smaller between these 2 points. That is your neutral spine. So I'm going to just come into your roll down. I'm going to drop that chin in and just come down to a comfortable position. If that's comfortable, just roll back up. Otherwise, keep rolling down to get that mobility through your spine. So restack your back, vertebra by vertebra, straighten up back to neutral. Drop your chin in, really pull into your pelvic floor, really using that wide breath at the back of that rib cage. Tuck back. So really restacking your spine like a necklace. Come on back to straight. So come again. So drop the chin in, roll the shoulders forward, really pulling into your pelvic floor, coming down further and further towards the floor as you're getting more and more mobile. So it should be easier to do as the weather is getting a bit warmer, so your mobility should be a little bit easier, but you still feel inflexible. Just make sure you keep to a comfortable range. Just release that through. I'm going to take the hands across and then just look to the right and then back in. So wide lateral breath, big inhale, and then exhale out. There we go. Just do it 2 more times and then back to that centre. So I'm going to repeat some of these with the ball. Come back to that centre. So if you have a ball or a cushion, you can go and grab it now. Otherwise, you can carry on doing the class without the ball. So I'm going to come on down, squatting down to pick the ball up, keeping the object close to you and bringing it up. So where you were squatting without the ball, you can use the ball now to place between your thighs. So this is going to be a bit more feedback off the ball, and you're going to keep the feet hip distance, keep that wide breath, chin tucked in, back to neutral. So again, you can sink down using the hands, and I'm really squeezing up against the ball as well. So really connecting through the pelvic floor. Big inhale, really pushing back through the hips, really engaging through the pelvic floor and really pulling in as well through the TVA, your transverse abdominis. So you're lifting that belly button away from your elastic band. Big inhale, exhale, and then just release this through. Hands slowly float down. So I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to lift it up. So I'm going to take the ball, big inhale, and then exhale over. That's it. So I'm going to come back down through the centre, big inhale, and then exhale over. So you don't have to do it with the ball, you can do it without the ball too. Big inhale, exhale over. Feel that stretch through the hips, through your lats, your obliques. Big inhale, exhale, back to your centre. So now I'm going to step back with the left leg. So I'm going to sink on down. Big inhale, exhale, come on back. So I'm going to step in, so I'm going to step back. So I'm going to lift on up, come on back to your side bend, and then bringing that in. So I'm going to step back. So keep that front knee in line with the ankle and keep that core connection through the pelvic floor, keeping that wide lateral breath. So you can sink a little bit lower with that knee as soon as you get a little bit more mobile. So I'm going to sink down, big inhale, exhale, come back to your pelvic floor, really pull it in, step it in. So I'm going to step back, sink down, lift on up, draw into your pelvic floor, come on back through that center. Nice job. So you don't have to use the ball, but I'm going to use the ball. So I'm going to take the breath in. So I'm going to take the breath in and lift out to the side and then exhale over. So I'm going to take that breath, wide lateral breath, and then come on over. So you can do it without the ball as well. So you don't have to use this ball. So drawing into the pelvic floor, exhale over. So I'm just starting off neutral there, stretching out to the left, and then exhale back. So I'm going to come back through that center and swap over hand. So keep the feet hip distance apart, draw into that pelvic floor, big inhale, and then exhale over. So hand can be on the hip or it can be out to the side if you want to. And then come on over a little bit further each time. So reach a little bit more, connecting that pelvic floor, exhale over. So I'm going to come again. So I'm going to reach to the side and then come again, exhale over. Nice job. And just release that through. Bring that ball back to that center. So you don't have to use the ball. So I'm going to lift up the knee and then exhale out. Back to there. So I'm going to draw it in again. So I'm going to draw it in back to neutral. Connect with your core and then come again. So really squeezing out. Squeezing into the bum and thighs, keeping that chin in line or that neck in line with the rest of your spine. Squeezing into your bum and thighs. So I'm going to draw in through that pelvic floor because we need it. It's a little bit of balance as well. So exhale. So you can drag the foot on the floor if you need to. So I'm going to draw that back in, feet hip distance. I'm going to lift up the left knee, draw out and really pulling into that pelvic floor. Hips are towards the ground. So I'm drawing that in. So exhale out and really focus on that pelvic floor. So your hips are facing the ground, try not to let them flare out. So keep that core connection. So you can have the head between the elbows in that extended position and really relax into your head and neck, but keep that tension through the pelvic floor. Big inhale, exhale, release that through. So we're going to lift on up. So I'm going to draw the knee and the elbow in and then out. So coming into that pelvic floor again. So you're really focusing through your obliques and focusing through that pelvic floor. Come back to that center, relax your shoulders. So I'm going to draw the knee in and flare the elbow out towards the knee. Really pinning into that pelvic floor, coming back to that center, your alignment. Big inhale, exhale, just relax that through. Nice job. So I'm going to step back with the left leg again. So feet at hip distance, lift on up. This time I'm just going to hold here so you can have the hands across you if you want to. So all I'm doing is sinking down and up. So I'm sinking down, coming down a little bit further. Exhale, really drawing into your core, really pulling into that pelvic floor. So this time I'm going to hold. I'm going to side bend over, back to the center. So side bend over and back to that center. So keep that connection in your core so you can come a little bit lower to feel more stretch in the front of your hip and squeezing into your bum and thighs. Draw the ball in, squeeze into your pelvic floor, bring that back leg in. So we're going to swap over side. So I'm going to sink down and up. So I'm going to just sink down and up. So really squeezing into your bum and thighs there, especially through this front one. So you don't have to use the ball. You can have the hands on the hips if you want to. So this time I'm going to hold it down and hold that there. So keep that core connection and keep that wide lateral thoracic breath. Keep that flow of breath there. So this time I'm going to sink a little bit lower. Just relaxing the shoulders, so you've got a nice soft V in the shoulders even though your fingertips and your hands are lifted. And step that back leg in, exhale, breath. Nice job. So I'm going to take, okay, I'm going to keep where I am to be fair. So I'm going to step the right leg forward, so I'm in a long-legged position there, drawing into that pelvic floor. So all I'm going to do is tilt forward and then up. So that's an option. You don't have to go as far. So each time I've got a really flat back and my hands are next to my elbow, my ears, or my elbows, let's get that right. My elbows are next to my ears. Now exhale, just hold that there. So I've got long legs, so I'm stretching that. I might turn around next time. So I'm going to come on up, big inhale, exhale, step the back left leg in and swap over. So the feet are hip distance. Let me just go to that angle a little bit so you can just see me a little bit more. So I've got longer legs, big inhale, exhale. There, so you don't have to tilt down as far. So it's a hamstring stretch and you're really focusing into your pelvic floor as well as you're reaching forward and pulling that belly away. So the arms are next to my ears, I haven't let them drop. Then I'm just going to hold that next one for just a couple of seconds longer, just to show you there. So it can come a little bit lower each time, but then you're going to get more stretch. So I've got a flat back there. Exhale, back in. So I'm going to bring that ball in, lift on up, push that back leg in. So I'm going to take your breath and lift it up with the ball. Big inhale. Now this time I'm going to take the knee out and then I'm going to lift up that leg. So you don't have to lift up the leg if you don't want to. You can go shorter range there. So I'm going to draw that in and then exhale and lift. So keep the back nice and straight and lift on up. I'm going to switch over. So I'm going to go out to the side and exhale forward. So out to the side, exhale forward. Come again. And really draw in through that pelvic floor. There, exhale, nice job, and just relax that through. Shoulder blades back and relax. So feel your core connection. So again, I'm going to lift on up through the right leg and then lift on back. There, now this time I'm going to draw it into the side. So I'm going to draw the ball into the side and extend out. So I'm going to draw it into the side. There and then extend out. So really squeezing into your bum and thighs as you're doing that and exhale out. So flaring the knee out to the side, exhale out, come back to that center. So big inhale and lift, exhale and widen that lateral thoracic breath, drawing the knee into the side and then finding that length. So keep your focus in front of you or on the point on the floor in front of you, so keep that focus point going, really working, squeezing your bum and thighs there. So draw in and exhale, squeeze your bum and thighs, hips to the ground and bring that back in. So I'm going to take the ball up, I'm going to lift up and then release. So I'm going to lift up, squeeze your bum and thighs and then release. So I'm going to squeeze your bum and thighs, come on back. There, and then I'm going to just release that through. I'm going to lift up and pulse, 2, 1, and release that through. So I'm pulsing, really squeezing your butt and release through. Draw into your core and find that breath. Bend that supporting leg and keep that connection through your lower abs. So you can lift up if you're ready and bring it in. So big inhale. Squeeze bum and thighs there, so you're keeping the connection and drawing in through your pelvic floor and your TVA. So wide lateral thoracic breath, still keeping the principles of Pilates and really squeezing into your bum and thighs there, so you've got that work and that balance happening. There, big inhale, exhale and release that through. Nice job. So let's take the ball and just put it on the floor, or if you've got the cushion you might need it around you. So I'm just going to put the ball down quite locally actually in case we need it, and let me just change this angle a little bit so you can see the mat. There, you can see that mat there. Maybe I'll move that back so see how I'm squatting down, keeping the back safe as I'm moving objects around. So we're going to come back into, let's move this forward a bit, that's it. That's it, staying in that camera view. So keep that connection through the pelvic floor. So I'm going to put the roll down in with a push up. So I'm going to roll down, squeeze into your bum and thighs. So this is going to really warm up. So you can go box position if you want to. So box position here, knees under hips. Go wide. So position 1, position 2. Actually position 2 with the knees down. And that's position 3 there. So we're thinking about 1-2 seconds and then 1-2 seconds up. So I'm going to bring that in, so you can go downward facing dog if you want to, otherwise just roll up and bend the knees. So I'm going to just gently come on up, big inhale, squeeze the bum and thighs. You don't have to lift up the hands and you don't have to go backwards with the mobility. So I'm going to mobilise again through the back as we're drawing down, so really feeling that connection through the pelvic floor and separating those vertebrae gradually. So really 1 to 3, if you want to do 6, that's fine, but make sure you're doing them slow and controlled. There, so I'm going to exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up. Come on back, hands shoulder distance, draw the heels down further, and then walk this in, really unrolling through your spine and pulling in through that pelvic floor. Find your breath, squeeze into your bum and thighs, come back to that centre. I'm going to roll down again. So roll down, drop the chin in, pull up through your pelvic floor. So imagine your back like a row of beads and really separating the spine out, walking it forward. So pull up through that pelvic floor and really pull up through the TVA as well, your transverse abdominis. So you're trying to pull on your jeans in this position. There we go. So slowly coming down and lifting up. So it's going to add strength to your core and a little bit on the upper body as well, so we're not omitting that the whole of this session. So I'm going to tilt the tail under, separate vertebra by vertebra, take your breath in, squeeze into your bum and thighs there, back to your centre and drop again. So this is the last time I'm going to do this. I'm going to slowly come on down, roll on down to the floor, walk it out, and then open up. So I'm squeezing into your bum and thighs there too, and feeling that contraction, pulling up through your pelvic floor. That's the one. Maybe just add another one on, nice and slow and controlled. Come back, sink on back and relax that through your back. That's it, and lengthen. So find that leg cat stretch, hands underneath the shoulders, knees under hips. So roll the spine, exhale and release. I'm going to roll that spine, draw up into your pelvic floor and just release that through. So you don't have to use the ball, but you can if you want to. So let me just speak you through this. So option 1, just the hands down, so make sure you're on the mat. So you can exhale out, pin into your pelvic floor, come on back. So you don't have to do anything that looks remotely like that at all. So what I'm going to do is take the ball, and I'm going to take that ball and then exhale away. So I'm going to exhale away, really drawing into your pelvic floor. Big inhale, so let me just turn that way. So make sure you're completely on or off the mat. I'll be there too. So exhale, drawing into your pelvic floor and using that wide lateral thoracic breath. So really focusing through that pelvic floor as you're lengthening away and exhaling, inhale there. So trying to flatten off that belly more and more. So anytime you need to drop down, that's fine. So if you need to drop down or go back to your first option or take the ball away or the cushion, there, that's it. Now I'm going to lengthen out and then come over to one side. Big inhale and then exhale over to the other side. So just keep that going a little bit. Big inhale and then exhale out, drawing into your pelvic floor. Just draw it in and release that through. So I'm going to just change my angle a little bit so I'm in the camera view. So you don't have to use the ball. Again, you can go back to just the leg extensions and without the ball too. So I'm going to really pin in through that pelvic floor, but keep this wide lateral breath. So there, now I'm going to cross and then uncross. So it's a little turn of that top leg. There, so you're really focusing through the pelvic floor. Big inhale, exhale and draw into your pelvic floor. Inhale, exhale. So you can make it rounder and make the arch a little bit bigger to make it harder each time. So there, so I'm lifting and then crossing. I'm lifting, drawing into the pelvic floor and then crossing. Big inhale and then exhale. Find that breath, big wide lateral breath, and as you're dropping down, really focus pulling into that pelvic floor. So you're going to draw these legs back in, exhale out. So you can do it without the hands too. That's a little bit harder. This one there, big inhale, exhale out. So you're working through your abs quite a lot, your pelvic floor, and then when you go to this one, so I've got long, you're using a little bit more through your obliques as well. Wide lateral breath, exhale over. Wide lateral breath. So making that arch a bit bigger is going to be a little bit harder. So with this one, obviously the hands are down. There, so really pulling up through that pelvic floor, drawing across. Big inhale and exhale over. Hold that there, draw that in, exhale, slowly come on down. Excellent job. So you can take the ball into one hand, take your breath. Let me just come in that camera view. Big inhale, exhale. That's it. So again, if you want that a little bit tougher, lift on up. Good. So you do it with a tiny hand weight as well. If you want to, a small bottle of water, this one. Exhale out. So I'm going to draw in into that pelvic floor. Use that wide lateral breath. Come on back to there if you need to, or touch down if you need to. But whatever one you're doing, just pull that pelvic floor tight and release that through. Nice job. So we're going to come back to your stretch here. So we're going to just widen out, not too wide actually. Let's get in that camera view. Just hold that there for a second. Just feel a little bit wider than the mat, point the toes away. Then, if you feel ready, lift on up. You don't have to do this one. You're going to tuck back and then come back up. So really working through that pelvic floor. So try and lift up and really drawing into that pelvic floor. There. And find that breath. So wide lateral breath. It's good hamstring stretching too. There. And I'm going to roll back. So I'm going to touch back even more and lengthen up. There. So you really maintain that length. So reaching on back, finding that flexibility and that strength in the core. So flexible strength. Big inhale, exhale. Find that strength through the core and just gently release that through. So stretching out through the hips a little way, exhale away. Superb. So we're going to find the floor. So you can either roll back like we're used to or come to one side and roll back. So we're going to gently roll on back to the ground and make sure you're in the mat. So again, you don't have to use the ball, but I'm going to use it and put it underneath my lower back. So to find neutral here, tilt the hips forward to the maximum and then back, and it's actually quite good mobility there too. So I've got the thumbs on the belly button and the index finger and the middle finger on the pubic bone, and then get smaller and smaller. It's good mobility. So focus through that pelvic floor, 30%, wide breath and draw into the TVA as well. So option one, if you're a beginner, just lift on up, exhale down. So you can just stay on the knee folds. And if you want to use the ball there, you can too. So I'm going to use the ball and just put it underneath my lower back this time. So I'm going to take the breath in, big inhale, exhale down. So you're really flattening out that belly towards that ball. So if you're ready, just come on up. There, so I've got the fingertips to balance. I'm going to lengthen out and then draw back in. So the knees are hinged above the hips, lengthen out, come on back in. So exhaling out, drawing into that pelvic floor, really squeezing into your TVA as well. So breathe out and tighten up. There, so now I'm going to just lengthen out one leg and then come back in. And then there, if you're ready for that. So I'm going to go reverse swimmer. Exhale, so I'm using one hand to balance and come back in. So exhale, really focus on the core, lower legs parallel with the ground. There, so if you're using the ball, it makes you unstable, so you become more aware of squeezing that pelvic floor tight as you're exhaling away to find that length. So I'm going opposite hand to opposite leg, as you do in swimmer as well. So exhale and find that length. Come on back in. So exhale, find that length, really squeeze up, really flatten out those abs. There we go. So you can drop the leg lower to make that harder. So there is easier, there is harder. There, big inhale, exhale, find more length coming back. And exhale, right leg down, exhale, left leg down. So take the ball away and come onto the side. So you don't have to use the ball, but I'm going to, because it's quite nice underneath the hip. So all I've done is bent the knee, so I'm going to just lift up and down. So I'm just going to hip height, squeezing into your bum and thighs there. So just feel that pelvic floor tighten up and feel that wide lateral breath as well. That's it, so you're really squeezing up, and I've got the foot flexed slightly, so the toes slightly inwards and the heels slightly lifted. There, so I'm keeping this knee flush with the hip, really drawing into that pelvic floor as you're doing that. Big inhale, exhale, really squeeze your bum and thighs and focus, find that connection in that pelvic floor. So feel that breath, wide breath. So if you do 10, stick to 10. If you do 15, do 15 on this leg. If you're up to 20, do 20. I think I'm just a couple away from 20 here. Big inhale, exhale, superb. Just relax that through. So I'm going to take the ball away, so you can use the ball for a bit of head support. So I'm going to take that top knee and just bring it in front instead and relax that head and neck. So I'm going to lift up, so you can use the ball or not. So I'm going to just have here, so I'm just going to point the toe and push and really squeeze into that pelvic floor and the inside thighs. Then I'm going to flex the foot and push up too. So really pulling up through the pelvic floor. Use that top hand for support. I'm going to point the toe away, really squeeze into that inside thigh and really focus up into the belly button and draw that core tight. So then I'm flexing the foot, coming up higher. So coming up higher, relax your head and neck. Just release that down. So we're going to come back into, you can use this again underneath the hip or elbows, or you can stay nice and long, or you can lift on up. So I'm lifting on up and I'm taking that oyster there. So really squeezing into that outside thighs and drawing that core tight. So feel that wide breath there and focus up and really pull up into that pelvic floor. There's some squeezing against there. That's it. Then I'm going to do some pulses here. So I'm going to pulse it up, relax that head and neck and release down. So I'm pulsing up, exhale down. So just hold for 3, 2, 1 and close down. So keep the hips up. 3, 2, 1. Nice job. And just relax that down. So again, I'm going to draw the top knee over and I'm going to lengthen. This time, I'm going to draw some circles. So I've got the toe pointed. So say like you do 3 circles forward, do 3 circles back. So big inhale, exhale at the end of the circle. So if you need a mat underneath your hip there, or you can use the ball if it's more comfortable. So now I'm going to go the other way. Big inhale, exhale, because sometimes your hip can dig into the mat. So you can cure that problem by putting either the ball there underneath the hip, or you can get a mat or a towel and just put that in. Big inhale, exhale at the end of the circle. Inhale at the beginning, exhale at the end, and really pull up the pelvic floor now and just relax that through. Draw the knees in. Let's swap over onto your other side. So in swapping over onto the other side, making sure that you feel comfortable. So I'm going to put the ball underneath the hip, but you don't have to do that. So the second knee is going to be flush with the hip, the elbow underneath the shoulder and drawing into that pelvic floor. So all I'm doing is lifting up and lowering down to begin. So you can do it straight if you don't want to be leaning on the elbow. You can take that out. So inhale, lift, exhale down. So really squeeze up into your bum and thighs there. So you're really working through the outside thighs and keeping that connection through your core. That's it. So keep a count of how many you're going to do. If you do 10, you can do 10, have a breather, do another 10, or you can do 20 and keep adding up to make that harder and harder each time. Inhale, lift, exhale down, really zip that pelvic floor tight and your TVA as well. So really drawing in. That's it. And using that breath, that exhale breath against it to really pull up and really focus on that pelvic floor whilst you're toning your thighs and whilst you're working on your legs. So you've got that good core position. So the elbow stays underneath the shoulder. I've probably totally lost count. Just doing 2 or 3 more. Big inhale, exhale down. So my toes slightly in, heels slightly lifted. And I'm going to draw that leg in. So you can lay flat or you can use the ball underneath the head or a pillow if you need to. So I'm just going to remove that so you can see me okay. So take the top leg and draw the knee forward and really zip up through that pelvic floor. So I'm going to point the toe away, really squeeze. So if you need the mat underneath the hip on this lying leg, then I'm going to flex the foot and try and lift higher and relax the head and neck. So you've got one line in your head and neck. Then really pull up that pelvic floor. So I'm pointing away, zip up through that pelvic floor. That's it, really tighten up. Use that exhale breath against it. So you're balancing yourself with that other knee in front of you, nice and light on your fingertips. So you're using your core to keep your balance in this position. And just relax that down. So then, you can use the ball again if you need to, but I'm not going to. So you can draw the knee slightly in front of you. The ankles are together, so you can stay down on the hips, or you can lift the hips high to keep that connection. I'm going to lift and open. So you're really working through your bum there and really pull into that pelvic floor. So you've got that lower belly working, you switch that lower belly on, and you're working through your glutes as well. So find that breath, wide lateral breath, exhale down. So you're really opening up that rib cage and using that hand to find more breath and more opening there. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and then close it down again. So 3, 2, 1, zip up into your pelvic floor. And then try and flatten out the belly button as well, your TVA. So keep hold of that one too. 3, 2, 1, squeeze your butt. Just do one more for luck on this side. Really squeeze that bum. Exhale down and then just gently release down. So we're going to take that top leg over again. So knee comes over. So we're switching on that inside thigh again, right up into your pelvic floor. So you can circle forward, big inhale, exhale. So you can do small circles, and then once you get more confident, just make them bigger. And then exhale at the end. So say if you do 3 forward, do the same on the way back. So keep that nice long spine and relaxed head and neck. Inhale, exhale. So now I'm going backwards. So really working up into that inside thigh, connecting into that pelvic floor. That's it. Big inhale, exhale. Once you've got that pelvic floor, draw the belly button in as well. So that TVA, so you've got that extra strength, that extra support through your core. So when you're performing these exercises, getting that core right is so important. I can't stress how important it is. So draw the knees in, come on up. Superb. So I'm going to come on back to the ab work now. So if you're not ready for using the ball, that's fine. So I'm going to roll down again or go to one side. So roll down again, go to one side if you need to. So you're going to take the ball and then place it between the ankles there. So you don't have to use the ball, so I'm going to just crisscross over There, so I'm lifting up and down and really pinning into that pelvic floor. So you can do this without the ball, and you can do it with your knees bent as well, like we did in some of the previous sessions. That's it, so really zipping up into that pelvic floor and really working through that wide lateral breath. Once you've got that pelvic floor, really drawing into your belly button as well. So option there, so you can do knee folds if you want to, and I'm going to extend, so I'm going to lift on up and then down. So I'm just using the hands lightly there, so you can do a bit of a roll in if you want to, and then lift on up. So I'm going to draw the knees in and really flatten out that belly, squeezing against it as well to keep those inside thighs switched on still. So you've got that tactile thing happening. So you've got a bit of feedback from the ball or the cushion. I know the cushion is probably not going to be as good, because that's why we use the ball, because it's pumped up, and then when you squeeze it, so I haven't got it pumped up completely like we do the fit ball. So it's quite underblown up, if you like, so you can squeeze it in without letting it burst. Big inhale, exhale. Superb. So I'm going to take that again there. So you don't have to come up and down if you don't want to. There, so I'm going to draw that in. Big inhale, so there. So if you need to change the ball, there. So I'm going to roll it up, draw the knees in. So really focus and flatten out that belly now. Nice job. Big inhale, exhale, draw into that pelvic floor and then flatten out. So it's like you've got your jeans on there, pull it all in, but keep that wideness of your breath so we're not holding that breath. Nice job. So draw that in. Excellent. So option to go from side to side. I'm going to just take the hands out. Big inhale. So it's optional. So you can do it with the feet down as well. Wide lateral breath. Feel it across your hands. Exhale. So option to lengthen and squeeze the ball. So I'm drawing that in. So I'm squeezing the ball in. Wide breath, exhale out, tighten up into your pelvic floor, and then like you're putting on your jeans. Come through that centre, find that wide breath and exhale into the core. Gently come on round again. So I've just got a couple more things on my mind to do before we get too much at the end of the session. And then big inhale, exhale. So I'm going to release the right leg down and then release the left leg down. So you can use the ball for a bit of support. Let's go quickly to a shoulder bridge. So I'm going to draw the heels up. It's good for your bum and thighs as well. So fingertips relaxed and on the mat. So just tilt if you're new, or come on up. So work it up 6 times till you come to this position. So squeeze your bum and thighs. Excellent for your bum and thighs, this one. So you can lift up the right heel. And then if you want a bit harder, lift up the right knee and then harder there. And then even harder still, I'm going to paint the ceiling with the ball of the foot, knee to knee. Big inhale, exhale. Focus, really draw into your pelvic floor. Squeeze your bum and thighs. There, nice deep breath in. Keep lifting the hips up. So excellent for your hamstrings, excellent for the rest of it. Big inhale, exhale down. So you can roll down in between if you want to, but I'm going straight to the other side. So heel or knee, and then roll down if you need to. So keep squeezing there. So you're really working into your bum and thighs on this side, and you're using this leg to load and be flexible and get that hip mobility going. Keep nice and relaxed in the shoulders. Draw that in, exhale down. So we're going to roll down in between, vertebra by vertebra. So that gives me another chance to hike the heels up, and I'm going to lift up again through. So you can just do pelvic tilt again if you want to, heel, knee or foot. That's it. So it's quite a toughie. So try and keep nice and balanced through the shoulders. So knee to knee, inhale, exhale, and really focus, pull up through that pelvic floor, squeeze into your bum and thighs. So painting that ceiling there. So I'm going to fold the knee, exhale, lift up the hips more. That will give you a chance to do that. So you keep lifting up and hiking those hips up to the sky. So knee to knee, Big inhale, exhale, tighten that core off. That's the one. Just keep squeezing into your bum and thighs onto that other side. That's it. And keep that knee in line with the hip, so try not to let it flare out and do its own thing. Lift on up, relax your shoulder blades, open them up as you're rolling back down. So feel that mobility come back into your spine as you're lengthening down. So do this one more time. So I'm going to lift up the heels more towards the bum, so then I can make that connection in the heel to the bum. So heel squeezes up to the bum, feel that wide breath, lift on up. So you don't have to do this last one. So it's quite tough. Nice deep breath in, exhale out through your mouth and really focus and pull up. So you're dragging in that center like a lift and then focusing on that pelvic floor as you're doing that too. The two things are the same thing. You're drawing into that belly button as you're lowering down, so you keep that connection. So option with the heel, knee, there we go. So your lift drawing in is the pelvic floor. So it's like a lift connecting the back and the front passage, and you're coming up through that center. And then your belly button, you're pulling in your jeans, yeah, to come in. And there we go, come on down. So roll down gently, gently roll on down to the ground. Good, so you can either go to one side, what I mentioned to you, and what I mean is this, you're going to one side and lifting up, or you can do a roll up off the floor. It depends how your back is feeling. So keeping in with your thigh movements, you don't have to use the ball. I'm going to go nice and long there. So I've got the ball between the thighs, lift up and then down. That's it. So you don't have to do that one at all. So pinning that pelvic floor and find that belly button as well. So eventually when you get quite good at that one, you can take the hand behind you and lift up. So you've got more core strength using there too. That's it. So I'm going to draw in, draw the knees in, gently roll on up, switch over side. That's it. So really pulling up through that pelvic floor and really focusing. So lifting and lowering with the ball. So trying to flatten out through the abs. Just keep, you can keep actually taking that pressure away from that front hand. So where you've got 5 fingertips down, go to 2, go to 3, go to 1 eventually. And keep building up through your core, relaxing into your head and neck as you're doing that. So try not to push off the floor too much. Gently come on in and come on back. So I'm going to lie down to the front, take the ball away, and I'm going to squeeze the bum and thighs there. So yeah, you can hold the ball if you want to, or you can be here. So squeeze into your bum and thighs and just squeeze there and then relax that down. It's going to reach back, squeeze your bum and thighs, keep clenching up through your glutes and drawing into your pelvic floor as you're doing that. Exhale and release, come again. So I'm going to lift on up, keep reaching towards the ankles, squeeze into your bum and thighs, keep the core connected and lift that belly button away from the mat. Just relax that down, come on back. So you come back to your all fours position. And I'm going to just sink back and have a bit of a stretch and then cat stretch again. So cat stretch that out. So then I'm going to just bend back and then exhale to the front. So if you want that a bit harder, come into your plank position. I'm going to draw the knees out to the side and then push forward. So knees go out to the side and then push forward. Did have another ball exercise in my mind there, so really zipping up through that pelvic floor, squeezing your bum there. So drawing in, it's quite athletic, so you can do it on the knees if you want to. So draw the knees out, sink back further, and then pin forward, but controlled. There, so I'm drawing back, zipping through that pelvic floor, squeeze your bum and thighs there. So drawing back, exhale, and just relax that through. Coming onto all fours, so I'm going to draw that knee up. So I'm going to take that hand round, but you don't have to, so I'm just holding that there. So hand underneath shoulder and keep that core connection. And then just relax that through. So I'm going to sink back again and then forward or come off. Draw back and then forward, zipping into your pelvic floor, really squeezing into your bum and thighs there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Draw back, zipping into that pelvic floor as you're doing that. Let your breath out here, but tone up through the belly button and your pelvic floor. Draw in. So you're mobilizing a little bit through your hips and then coming forward there. So drop down. So we're going to go left leg, draws up. Keep that left hand underneath the shoulder. Right hand comes off. Reach around the back. Find that stretch. Big inhale. Exhale and release. Chill out. Find a bit of length. And then come on up into your downward facing dog or V-stick pose. So there, so the heels are down, and then I'm going to lift on up to three-legged dog, and then draw out to the side. So you don't have to do that, so it's quite a lot of core work. Lift on up again, one more time, so really flaring out through there, and then exhale back to your three-legged dog. Exhale, change over, so heels are down, head between the elbows. So big inhale, lift. Exhale, draw the knee to the elbow. Exhale, find that length. So all the time you're opening up through your hips as well. Exhale, find there. Just one more time. For luck, draw in, heel down. Exhale, so I'm just going to walk these heels. There, so option just to stay there, so otherwise right hand to thigh or left ankle. So I'm going to come on back and then roll forward, articulate forward, back to your plank, squeeze your belly tight. Come on back to your downward facing. So I'm going to go left hand to right thigh or ankle, so just turn it in and then come on back and then roll forwards, articulating through your spine. Through there. So then I'm going to just draw the knee in between. So if you want to run that out a little bit, you can. Just get a bit of energy flowing, or you can do it slower or off the knee if you need to. So really flatten out the belly. Hold that there. Slow down, knees down, relaxed, back to there. Exhale out. Come on back round. And feel that flow of breath come back to you. So, take the ball away, flex the feet, take that wide breath. Big inhale, exhale over, and then find that breath come back. Flatten out the belly, relax into the shoulders, exhale out. So quite good mobility and stretch there. Big inhale, exhale, reaching over. Come again, find that wide lateral breath and then exhale over. Superb, just release that through. Let's go with a bit of toe tap. So you don't have to roll back either. So this time going behind, and it's quite good mobility for your hips too. It's going to tap, so it's quite good abdominal work too. And then roll on back and then balance that out. Flatten out through that belly. So you can just stay on the taps if you don't want to roll back. There, so make sure that you've got the length of the mat behind you so you're balancing up and taking that challenge. So you don't have to do this, quite advanced ones really, some of these, and really zipping into that pelvic floor as you're doing that. Just one more time, that's enough. Come on back and just hold that there. And then just relax that through. Chill out for a second and then gently come on down, roll back down. So slowly roll down or go to one side if you need to. So you can take the ball again and this time come up through the ankles there. So I'm going to just lift up and then bend into the knees and roll up again. So I'm going to lift up, pushing up. So you don't have to use the ball. So bend the knees and lift on up. So this time I'm going to reach up there and then reach up to there. So you don't have to do that one, especially with the upper body. And then lift on up. So come again. So I'm going to draw in to that pelvic floor, lift on up. So I'm reaching in and then exhaling. Just hold that there. So I'm going to crisscross again. There we go. So I'm lifting up and down. There. So crisscross again. And really focusing in through that pelvic floor as you're crossing in. So this time draw it in and then lift it up and then crisscross down. That's it. Really zip up into your pelvic floor. So bending into the knees, lift up, and this time draw up there. And then let's go again. Crisscross last time. Really zip that pelvic floor tight. Lifting and lowering. Draw that in. Big inhale. Take that ball away. Exhale, right leg down. Exhale, left leg down. You're going to reach there and then draw that in. There. So you don't have to reach up if you don't want to. So I'm going to draw that ball back there and then do a small lift if you can. So wide lateral breath, find that pelvic floor, reach forward, taking the ball back, big inhale. So you can do it without the ball, you can do it with a small object. Draw back, small cushion is good for this one, just adds a little bit of weight and just a little bit of difference to what we normally do. And then exhale out, inhale back in, flatten out through that pelvic floor. Nice job. And then just release that through. Did have another one for the ball, but it's escaping my mind now. So I'm going to take the ball away. You can use it for a bit of support there. So you can either stretch there or there. So draw the knees in to the sides, or out to the sides rather. So option to find a little bit more core there a couple of times. Let's come again. So you can just hold that stretch if you need to. And then draw out. So I'm stretching and then I'm going to lift up a little bit more here. Exhale out. So really zip that pelvic floor tight because the knees are flared out a bit. Work a little bit more into your obliques. Exhale out. So draw that back in. Hold that there. So we're going to find that stretch through there and then elongate away. You can hold the sides of the legs if you want to. I'm going to go through the big toes and then that just allows you just to lengthen out a little bit more through your inside thighs. And then big inhale, come back in, roll that in, exhale right leg down, exhale left leg down. So we're going to take the stretch there. I did want to do more glutes, but we're coming to the end. Reach through the middle, hold on to the back of the leg. So I'm stretching there. Flex the ankle to keep safe with your knee joint. So stretching out through your glutes actually. Exhale, come on down, switch over. There we go. So I'm going to make the closing phases a bit more dynamic than last time. So ankle in line with the knee. Pull up into your pelvic floor, still not letting go of that pelvic floor actually till we go to bed tonight. Exhale, take that leg down. Exhale, release that through. This time I'm going to hold that stretch. So you can take the top knee and hold it in or lengthen. And also you can use the ball there actually. But I'm using my hand to make sure that my back shoulder stays down. Now restack the knees, engaging in the core, slowly come on round to the other side. So just hold it there, relax your shoulders, option, option, option to find more length. So eyes and hands relaxed to one side and really chilling out. So restack the knees. If you have the energy, roll up or go to one side like I showed you before. So you're going to come on back to your box position and you're going to take the right leg to the outside of the right hand. There, and then if you want to, you can power that up and then exhale out to the side. Just find that stretch through your spine and lengthen through that back leg. Come on back. So you can come back to box or plank. It's up to you. So I'm just going to come back to high plank. So you switch leg. So you can start with the knee down if you want to, and then turning, even if you did go back to plank. So just do whatever feels right for you and keep the strength and the control in your movements with this type of class, and don't let go of that pelvic floor, and keep drawing in that belly button too. So you're going to lower that hand back down, come back to your plank, and then I'm going to go to downward facing dog. I'm going to take the right leg between the two thumbs and really next to that right thumb. So now I am going to drop down to the knee and lengthen out. So hamstring stretch there, nose to knee, and then come back to a bent position there. So hip stretch, hamstring stretch, and then try to increase that hamstring stretch. So you don't have to go to a full stretch if you're not ready yet. Okay, so you can just hold the position through just with a bent knee at the back, or bring that back leg in. So I'm going to come on back to your lunge position. So just take the mat and make sure you flatten it out. Come back to your lunge, and I'm going to lift on back up. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Exhale. So try and get more heels down, more hamstring stretching going. So there we go. So I'm going to take the left leg between the two thumbs, next to the left thumb. I'm going to drop that knee down, find that length. So I'm going to re-lengthen there, nose to knee, hamstring stretch, then back to there, hip stretch, then back to your hamstring stretch, just keeping an eye on the time, and then try and find that length through. So if you're not ready yet, that's fine. So don't have to go right down into a split type position. So as you feel nice and warm, you're going to make these happen a little bit easier. There we go. So as you feel that tension easing, exhale, come back into it. So you're going to come back to lunge. So you can just lift up that leg through the mat, back to there. I'm going to step back to your downward facing dog, and then press the heels down, and then just gently roll on up. So I'm going to come on back to your standing position. Gently unroll through your spine, vertebra by vertebra. I'm going to have to leave it there. Well done. Thank you for joining me. In case you came on a little